We tore down 150 buildings during the 70s, 60s and 70s redevelopment. There was federal money to redevelop our downtown, which meant let's build parking lots. The mall was happening. There were always people there. It was a happy place.
Yeah, the mall was still vibrant. It was still, the place to be, to go shopping. Yeah, for 25 years or so, I think it had served a good purpose, and it was the place to go. Those projects, efforts, they served their purpose, for several years, and then something changes, and we move on to whatever the next generation wants, I guess.
I started to get phone calls from people who said, Sears is going to leave. When Sears leaves, there's not going to be enough lease payments to pay the mortgage. It's going to go into foreclosure. Would like the foundation to think about what to do about this. I don't think I heard any question more than what are they going to do? And no one knew who they was. There was a sense that it was everybody else's responsibility but ours.
I think the locking up of the parking lots was a key action step that really motivated people to do something. I think we understood at that point that it wasn't going to happen on its own, and we're going to have to step in as a community and make something happen.
To make a big statement like Howard Cohn made to us was courageous. See the mall? There's the building. And the parking lots that have just spread around the mall. The mall is a cancer that is spreading. And the only thing you can do is cut it out.
We had 23 acres of blow sand downtown, and you could see the snow fence crisscrossing, downtown. I mean, it was the only way to keep the sand, from blowing around.
We actually spent some money to put grass seed in the sand around the downtown area to keep the sand from blowing around the few buildings that were left down here.
I think a lot of people just simply expected that that's the way it was going to be, for the next 20 years. We knew that, downtown had to, it had to succeed. There was no question, that it had to come back. And the fact that, in a sense, we had created kind of a clean slate for that, left the door in a sense wide open, as to what the possibilities could be.
We went from what people standing back on, what are they going to do, to realizing they is us. We are doing this. Muskegon is doing this. And that has continued. So that mood changed to, we're making this happen.
So there was a good collection of a lot of different people that got together at the time and said, here's what we want our downtown to look like.
This was going to be a huge undertaking where we're going to need a lot of stakeholders involved in order to transform this downtown from its current state, an abandoned mall, into something new and exciting and something for the future. Gary Post and his partner Russ Strong, they were on the chamber board at that time, so they had a lot of information about what could be and the possibilities there. And they were both very positive guys and weren't listening to any of this negativity. And when they purchased the building that we're in right now, which is now 18th Amendment, and this strip right along here, and started to renovate that, and they renovated it to the highest quality and people could see the beauty that they were creating, I think that's what really got people excited.
When we bought these buildings in 2006, there wasn't even street. There wasn't even streets in front of the buildings. Western Avenue had not yet been completed.
Find the means to reestablish the street grid. You can't wait to sell a lot and then put a street in front of it. That part you have to build out. That's essential. Let's get the infrastructure in, restore what is pretty close to the traditional street grid of the downtown, and now you'll have something, to sell.
Another development that occurred in downtown Muskegon, which we were very excited about, is when Baker College decided to build their culinary arts area in the downtown Muskegon. And then to follow up with that, Muskegon Community College made a commitment and purchased the old Muskegon Chronicle building, repurposed that into a technical educational area for area youth and adults to do training and retraining.
They had every intention on making Muskegon Community College a vibrant institution. We were doing fine, but they wanted us to be a leader in our community and not so much an observer. They wanted us to be part of economic development here, which we really hadn't done in the past. There are any number of cities that are about the size of Muskegon, and they're just exploding. And one of the reasons they're doing that is there are educated and motivated individuals living there. So that's something that we wanted to continue to build here in Muskegon. And we knew if we had a major investment of any of our academic programs in our downtown area, that would make a difference.
Elements that really helped spark a lot of interest was the gift of the Muskegon Farmers Market. You now had a beautiful town square that draws in 10,000 people on a Saturday that really could help drive interest and energy within the downtown.
The benefits from that farmers market were beyond what we ever anticipated. We didn't even realize that people would go to the farmers market and then go to the art museum. That wasn't part of what we anticipated. But then when we added the Western market, and that's such a great attraction for our community, a way to start small retailers.
To have a downtown is one thing, the other one is to bring people downtown. So how do you energize an area that's been basically off the map for the entire community for 10, 15 years and get those people back downtown area?
We believe that in order for the downtown to be successful, it needed to be a 24/7 downtown. And I think you get that when you have people living here.
When the mall was coming down, it had this fantastic layer of philanthropy and motivation and excitement that really drew me in. And I thought my role could be providing two things to this community. One would be market rate housing, both in a rental form and a for sale form, and then also turning around the hospitality that was downtown.
When we get a chance to build our downtown and the neighborhoods that surround it in a way where I would live next door to you and you would live next door to a fresh college graduate, and on the other side would be a single mom, and that's when we're going to build the most robust neighborhoods. They'll be recession proof, right? Because there's lots of different price points for people to get in. They'll be much better at providing people with a high quality life. I think one of the things that has helped lead to our success is our willingness to see things in multiple ways. A sidewalk can be a sidewalk and a dining room, right? A street can be a place for cars and a place for festivals. I think we broke a lot of barriers, and turned a lot of heads when we built a restaurant into our arena.
We understood the concept of mixed-use buildings, and that's where a building would have different types of uses based on the floor. So we would have retail, office, housing was critical.
We also were motivated to participate in anything we could do to help get the convention center here and do our part in getting it built. Convention centers typically aren't busy in the summer because everybody vacations in the summer in Michigan, but they're really strong in the shoulder seasons and the winter season.
The biggest thing that even still surprises me is that there are 75 new businesses in our downtown. A lot of them are small, so people don't necessarily notice them, but when you really start counting them up, one by one, there are 75 new businesses. That's amazing.
People opening their eateries, people opening their boutiques, their barber shops, their coffee shops, all the things that are so appealing.
Very fortunate to have city leadership that embraces change for the right reason, embraces what's happening downtown, because it can't all be driven by local government. It has to be driven by individuals, entrepreneurs, private sector to help these things happen.
I've developed properties in 9 different communities, but in the last 11 years, this has been my primary focus, and there's really only one reason. The city government and the vision and the partnering and the hard work is unparalleled.
We need to work with our business owners. We need to support them, and they need to support us. And I think we can see the fruits of that, playing out right now. And so you'll probably notice that we focused a lot, almost so much so where people were saying, there's enough breweries downtown, there's enough pizza places downtown, there's enough of this. And we kept saying, no, there's not. We'll know when there's critical mass, and here's how we'll know. People will be beating down our door to live here, right? That's how we'll know once it's reached critical mass. And I think we're seeing that now, right? People spending millions of dollars to build buildings that they would have never even fathomed building 5 or 7 years ago.